Hey guys, Jason here. Just wanted to share with you a few things that I was thinking about today about ways that you might be able to take and develop some new songs, some little secret sauce tools for your guitar arsenal. These are things that I do to get the creative juices flowing. Sometimes you sit down with your guitar, you start playing, and it's like you go through the same rut. I know I do it whenever I'm on stage and maybe doing a vamp. I start playing some of the same riffs, some of the same stuff. So I tend to do that same thing whenever I'm playing guitar for songwriting. One of the things, one of my favorite guys that I've grown to like writing with, and I love a lot of guys that I write with, but one of my favorite people that I love writing with is Mark and Bowden. Mark is a guy who wrote "You Are Holy, You Are Holy." You can't sing that without wanting to sing the repeat of it. You can't sing that without wanting to sing the repeat of it. But one of the things that Mark does is he likes just doing alternative tunings on guitars and finding new ways and creative ways of implementing those into songs, just to find something different, something new. So we'll be writing a song, and he'll just all of a sudden jump up to a different type of tuning, just a different way of playing it, and find a new voicing. But anyway, I wanted to share with you a couple of ways that I tune guitars and do that to find a new way of playing it. So first, a couple of caveats with these. A lot of times you'll find over the years, whenever I play guitars, I play in what's called well, for me, I call it a drop tuning. It's not typical what you would call a drop tuning. I tune down to E flat. So that just means all of my standard tuning strings that are tuned down just a half step. I don't always do it. Here for the past couple of years I haven't. But majority of the time whenever I play, you'll find it's tuned down a half step. I've slowly tended to go back to that. A lot of times whenever I don't, it's because it depends on who I'm playing with. And sometimes I find that it freaks people out whenever they see a capo on that first fret and they're like, wait a minute, what are you doing? And they're trying to play along with me. Another caveat that I'm going to talk about is the fact that I am an artist who is endorsed by Gopher Wood Guitars. You're going to see a guitar that is not Gopher Wood today, and that's because I only have so many Gopher Wood guitars. My main player is a Gopher Wood G800 RE, and that's my main player. I play that all the time, and it is in pretty much standard tuning, with the exception of whenever I drop it down to that half-step tuning. Most of my other guitars that I'll have, they're going to be in some form of alternate tuning. I'll have a backup guitar, but I'll also have guitars that'll be for alternate tunings, and I want to talk to you about those. These tunings I didn't come up with on my own. I don't want you to think, man, Jason just came up with some really cool stuff. To be honest, these tunings are because of one of my guitar idols, I guess you would say, is the guy that really made me love CCM music to begin with. I remember the first time sitting outside of a Quick Mart in Adamsville, Tennessee, my brother introduced me to a guy named Stephen Curtis Chapman. And these voicings are really, I'm sure he's not the first one to do it, but it's where I learned that from, is from Stephen Curtis Chapman. But you'll find that that's where a lot of these voicings come from. So, any, mini, miny, mo. Let's start with probably this guy here. This is a Gibson J45, beautiful guitar, but this is a unique voicing that I like to do on these. This is just a simple dadgad, except it's tuned down a half step. So everything that would be dadgad is actually D flat. So you've got your D flat here, your A flat, D flat, so on and so forth. So everything's just tuned down a half step, and it's beautiful because you've got your voicings that you can do so much with. So this is bad out of tune. it's just with that half step lower, it makes it just really have that low resonance. It just gives it a nice, beautiful sound. This is a if you think songs that maybe you're thinking in the lines of Stephen Curtis Chapman, songs like let me think here. Songs like Don't Let the Fire Die. Sing, keep your eyes on Jesus. So it just gives a great different voice. So maybe you're playing around and you're used to your regular E tuning. It gives you just another voice that you can play in. So anyway, that's dad-gad tuning, or in this case, Stephen Curtis Chapman calls it dad flat. So that's what you'll see on some of my cases. It'll be written dad flat on there. So there's that. Another good tuning that you can do on these guitars is this one. This is what I would call, this is a Gopher Wood D820 CE guitar. It's a beautiful guitar. I like doing this particular tuning on this guitar because this almost plays and resonates like a Taylor, except if you know on the Gopher Wood guitars, they've got that sound pillar technology in there, and it just makes it sound just phenomenal. I can change out the sound pillars in here and give it just a different depth, a different brightness. So the trick on this guy is one simple step. So again, we're a half step down. So it's to take your instead of taking your B, what would normally be your B string, I have to think because I'm a half step down. So instead of having your B string here, you're actually tuning your B string to what would be the A string. So you're tuning it way on down. So I'm normally a half step down, I'm a whole step down from that. And this is what I would call my A-tuned guitar, even though it's a half step down from that. So what you get is whenever you're playing just that without that added A up here, and you can do some interesting stuff with that. Stephen Curtis would call this his Cinderella tuned guitar, or I guess also his A-tuned guitar too. But this is where, if I capo up a little bit, you get things like this. So you get songs like she spins and she sways to whatever song plays without care in the world. Just get so many different combinations of what you can play because you've got that openness. And it's almost like, for those of you that play with the shortcut capo, it's almost like just having different string combinations that you didn't think, and it opens up your possibilities. So if you're a guy who just likes to pick around on guitar and find different tuning possibilities, this is one that'll, it's simple enough for those of you that are going, I'm afraid of dad-gad, but I know how to finger normal chord positions. You don't have to digress too far away from it. So this is one that I like doing. So anyway, that's just a couple of variations that you can do. Really, really super simple. This one just dropping that B string down to your A string. It makes the D really easy, so it's one finger. And what makes it really cool is then you can do almost like a drop D tuning on top of that. So here's, watch this. So now you take your E string, and on top of that, so watch this. So now you've got your D on top of this. So now it's real deep, and you've got this big D on here. So anyway, that's just a couple of different alternate tunings that you can do and see if you can spark up some songwriting and some creativity and some creative juices. So, see ya.